Good morning, everybody. This is Jillian coming at you from Ohio, the beautiful state of Ohio, where we have bipolar weather and very interesting people and not a very diverse state culturally. And I'm okay with that. So anyways, yeah, yesterday was kind of interesting. I was, all the different trolls that come onto my page, onto my business page, I get some kind of information from. It gives me an incentive. It manipulates and stimulates my creativity palette. And they always give me ideas, even though they're not meaning to give me ideas. Every single time I get trolled by someone, they give me an idea. And I'm like, oh yeah. And they almost like they wake me up in sometimes because we have been ruled by the age of medical entertainment. We have been ruled by the showbiz people. We have been ruled by people that really don't know the cause of things, but they're very quick to find things to blame and make money off of that. And so, I went on Dr. Phil, and I'm like all of you. I haven't really done my research really on the background. Some of you already know that Dr. Phil really isn't a medical doctor, and I kind of knew that, but that word doctor just seems to make everything seem like he knows it all. Like anyone that has a doctorate is like a know-it-all. And everyone, I'm telling you, I don't care if you don't believe in the academia. Everybody wants and seems to revere someone with a doctorate degree. And let me tell you, they have their place. I don't discount their time in college. I don't discount their information or their education. However, it only goes so far. Remember, they're only regurgitating what was been told to them through their whole life, as far as in academia. So there really isn't too much outside the box thinking. Yeah, their thesis and their theses are supposed to be something new and revolutionary, but they're still coming from peer-reviewed information that doesn't have a different outcome. The outcome is always the same. You die in the end. But nobody in academia or in the medical industry has ever promoted or even considered the thought of indefinite life. They say that, yeah, they promote or consider indefinite life, but only a few people can do it. And who are those people? There really isn't anybody. So they say longevity, promote, a longevity, but results may vary or something. So anyways, recently with Dr. Phil going on and saying that he thinks that we should release the guidelines, which I agree with, but not for the same reasons he agree with, that he has. He's saying that people who are depressed, socially isolated should not be sacrificed for the good of whoever. And, that's fine, but should we release everybody prematurely and sacrifice the weak people that don't know it for the good of whoever? Well, here we go, individual responsibility. So even though Dr. Phil and I agree that, we should release the guidelines, though it might be a little bit too soon, but at some point we're going to have to rip the Band-Aid off. He isn't a medical doctor. He isn't someone that should be offering any kind of opinion on this, okay? He needs to stick with his medical entertainment. And so anyways, I was doing more research, and even though in my book it says that all the different symptoms and diagnosable diseases come from imbalances in your hormones, in your biochemistry, in your microbiome, in my next book, which is going to be called, Humans Are Just Another Pattern in Nature or something, I'm going to mention that sodium should be able, it affects in a positive way all of biodiversity, and how those patterns in nature correspond and connect with each other. And I'm going to have it all in different categories and how they're connected. And I'll tell you those categories down the road. But salt is an actual water retention type of thing. Okay? High blood pressure comes from a hormonal imbalance where the antidiuretic hormone produced by the hypothalamus is released by the posterior pituitary gland, and it raises the blood pressure by stimulating the kidneys to retain water by increasing blood volume. And then in conjunction with that, it retains then sodium, and sodium in the body. And the sodium is water's insurance mechanism. And then for you to be well hydrated and lower your blood pressure is to drink water. Holy crap. Well, when you drink a lot of salt or eat salty foods, how do you balance out the salt? You drink water. How does a doctor, even a clinical psychologist who has kids that are doctors, he raises doctors, how does he not know this? How does Dr. Youdim not know that calcium is in cabbage? How does Dr. Youdim not know that that fermentation is a probiotic and it can't be harmful? See, the age of medical entertainment, I think, is pretty much over. I mean, right now, people are getting on Bill Gates because he's not a doctor. Okay, but are you now listening to doctors? Those of you who are against Bill Gates? Okay, are we now going to be listening to all the doctors? I mean, this is where it gets kind of like, no matter which side you take, you're going to go against yourself in some way. Because guess what? I'm a Republican. I like watching Fox News. I do like watching CNN, but I think CNN really just, oh my God. But then Dr. Phil's on Fox News. Not even on CNN. It's like, what the hell? Okay, and he's a major liberal. And so it's like everyone's switching sides where it suits them, which, okay, I understand. Remember, you take a side, you're going to always come off hypocritical in some way because you're going to pick and choose people's ideas and platforms based upon your agenda. And that's no different than, Fox News. The Republicans do want people to come out and circulate. They want to release the guidelines and restrictions, and I understand that. We have to rip the Band-Aid off somehow. But it really just, it had me really take a closer look at Dr. Phil. And yeah, he's not a medical doctor. I was still dazzled by the whole doctorate thing, but I'm not really dazzled anymore because, it's not about the titles. Because I know doctors out there that are so uppity and so high on themselves and so like thinking that they're God that they're degrading and they're decaying and they're aging, and eventually their degrees will be worth nothing because they'll be dead. So it's like, I don't know. We live in a freaking paradox. We live in a crazy world. So anyways, high blood pressure is not from salt. The reason why salt gets characterized as causing high blood pressure because it is an energizing force and it energizes all of your imbalances. That's all salt does. It doesn't cause high blood pressure. It is the hormonal imbalances that cause high blood pressure. You want to lower your blood pressure? Drink some water or drink some jelly juice and then drink some water. Okay? And so it's like, so we have now put that to rest. Though I don't say in that so many words in my book that's coming out in June. Because I'm trying to get people to understand what a microbiome is. I'm trying to introduce the concepts of microbiome. I'm trying to introduce the concepts of biochemistry. I'm trying to introduce the concepts of salt and sugar, how they should not be demonized. Okay, that is coming out in June. And so I am kind of baby stepping everybody into this information so you at least get, the foundation that we can potentially live indefinitely. Salt and sugar are not the demons. You have all of your diagnosable diseases from imbalances, from antibodies. And so once you understand that foundation and that jelly juice is not poison, it's nothing that's going to cause anything, it's not going to cause anyone's death. Once you get that foundation, then we can take you to the next level, which is understanding how humans are just another pattern in nature. Okay, humans are just another pattern in nature that, you have the plants, you have the animals, you have the humans. We're an animal, I guess. You have the insects, you have then the microbiome, and all of that, so the microbiome is what makes up the plants, animals, humans, and then the biochemistry, and then all the elements. And then what are these patterns in nature? And then how do they manifest in the microbial world, in the animal world, in the plant world, in the insect world, in humans, and in sociological circumstances? And then you start seeing that it's all the same stuff, just repackaged with different, contexts, but they're all connected. So you can have a context so someone understands because they're in a certain industry, but it's still connected to other contexts. Okay? It's like the word context almost like it's oxymoronic, because context says it's different, but it's not different. It's just catering to one specific narrow-minded point of view of how a person perceives the world, but it's still connected to other contexts. So even contexts are oxymoronic. Contexts are oxymoronic. Because, yeah, it's everything is still connected. Okay? So medutainment, that's what Dr. Phil is. That's what Dr. Oz is. That's what the doctor's show is. Dr. Drew Pinsky and Love Lines. Remember that way back when? They know only a little bit, enough, but they really are one big infomercial. And you're right, conspiracy people out there. Yes, you're right. They are a wing of biotech. But people have been asking for that. They're asking for antibiotics. People are asking for antibiotics, they're asking for drugs. They're asking for procedures to take out their organs so they don't have to feel anything again. People are asking for these things. And so when you ask for something and there's a need out there, whether or not they really need it, but if there are wants out there and needs, someone is there to fulfill it. So if you want to take out a tooth, someone is going to be out there studying how to take out a tooth without completely torturing you. Okay? I mean, that's really what it is. So now we have to teach the public how to ask for different things so they get a different outcome. But if you keep asking biotech and you keep asking your government for the same thing, you're going to get the same outcome. And so people are asking for these medical doctors or non-medical doctors that entertain the public, that promote very stupid public perceptions like salt causes blood pressure. No, salt doesn't cause blood pressure. Salt actually retains water and keeps you alive. Okay? Hormonal imbalances causes high blood pressure because of the fact that the blood pressure is stimulating the kidneys. Okay? And there's an antidiuretic hormone. Why does this antidiuretic hormone exist? Because the body it's a way. What is the ADH? Why does it exist? Why does the antidiuretic hormone exist? Okay, antidiuretic hormones stimulates water reabsorption by stimulating insertion of water channels or aquaporins into the membranes of kidney tubules. These channels transport solute-free water through tubular cells and back into blood, leading to a decrease in plasma osmolarity and an increased osmolarity of urine. Oh, Jesus. You can see why people don't understand this information, because that's almost Greek, almost. But what it says is basically stimulates water reabsorption by stimulating insertion of water channels. And so what it does, it takes away the water, brings in the salt. So what that does actually, it decreases the plasma. And so these channels transport solute-free water. Okay. Solute-free water through tubular cells back into blood. So what this says then is the antidiuretic hormone produced by the hypothalamus is and released by the posterior pituitary gland raises the blood pressure by stimulating kidneys to retain water. Okay, so this is to retain water by increasing blood volume. Okay, so that's when you don't drink enough water. So then this antidiuretic hormone stimulates the water reabsorption. So it takes water from your body and then it starts inserting, by stimulating insertion of water channels. And then it releases it back into the blood. So water into the blood to keep it flowing. And that's why it raises the blood pressure, because it raises your blood volume. And then it retains sodium, and sodium is the water's insurance mechanism. Okay, try explaining that to people who really have no understanding of freaking hormones. So, I just feel vindicated. I really do. So I'm just kind of right now just chilling and sitting with all this. And you guys know we got this figured out. A lot of people, I'm getting a lot of emails now from people, messages from people. They want to be part of this group and they want to be in the group and they want to ask all of you questions. And I'm not going to have anyone that's not doing the protocol that doesn't already understand in the group. There is no freshmen allowed in my group. Only sophomores and juniors and seniors. Okay. Freshmen have to learn on their own. Okay. They really do. Because for you to even qualify to be in my group, you already have to exhibit the characteristics that you know how to read, you know how to follow directions, and you know how to do things on your own, and you're not afraid, and you understand what it takes. I have enough free information out there to give somebody a feeling of some kind of hope and some kind of possibility, and then all they have to do is just, if they have any questions or concerns, they can just watch the different videos and look for the different videos and make their decision and just do it. You can't go wrong. There is nothing poisonous about jade juice, even with the mold on top of jade juice. Okay, you mix and stir. That's it. The salt and the lactobacillus will neutralize anything that could potentially be pathogenic, if at all. Okay, if you're afraid of germs and you're afraid of viruses and you're afraid of microbes and you're afraid of all these different things and you're always disinfecting everything, then you're not going to understand the jade juice world. If you're so afraid of this virus out there, you're not going to understand the jade juice world. It is not for you. Yeah, if you want to live in a bubble in a hermetically sealed world, then you won't last long on this earth. Okay? So there's no one I'm going to allow in my group that wants to do the protocol, but wants to ask you guys all a bunch of questions. I know some of you will be like, yeah, but I don't want your time to be spent. I want the time that you have to be spent on doing the protocol, giving a testimony, and supporting those that are already doing it that just need somebody to say, hey, I get where you're coming from. I'm in the same boat too. It's tough when people around me don't understand. That's who I want in my group, are those that support others that are going through the same thing that they're going through. Okay? So there's no one that's going to be a freshman in my group. And if there are freshmen in my group, they're not saying anything. And they're smart. Because as soon as you open your mouth and ask what a waterfall is, as soon as you open your mouth and ask what kind of salt you should use, as soon as you open your mouth and say, hey, what about this, diagnosable disease and that diagnosable disease, you are gone, gone, gone. So if you're going to ask any question in my group, you better know what kind of question to ask. And that is, hey, does my juice look good today? Hey, do I look good today? Those are the kind of questions I want in my group. How are y'all feeling? Is everything wonderful? No one really asks that because it's like none of your business how people are feeling. But I mean, really, there is no place really to ask questions in my group. Everything is laid out. Now, back a couple of years ago, yeah, the questions were allowed because it was so new that I was even researching and stuff. But now everything is pretty much done with and laid out for everyone from beginning to end. And if you don't get that, then there's nothing that I can give or say or do that's going to make you understand. So yeah, it's so interesting. So I'm going to study more on this antidiuretic hormone. I'm not really well versed on it, but I think I'm going to have to figure out as far as, I don't know. There's like hundreds and hundreds of hormones that I've got to study. And there's got to be a way to figure out how to address all of them without naming all of them, but only the ones that are really pertinent based upon just what you see and what's out there, as far as articles and fears and all that stuff. So that's my mind working. And so you're kind of seeing now, well, you're not kind of seeing, you're seeing me now come upon some new information. Or it's not really new information, but it's a different way of explaining the same information with a more technical background. But I've got to get people understanding that hormonal imbalances is the cause of cancer, disease, and chronic illness that creates antibodies. and then those antibodies do attack good cell tissue. Okay? And so that's what's in my current book coming out in June. Anyways, I'm going to go, but I'm having a good time with my husband. Yeah. So we're enjoying this quarantine, and we're about 10 years together, and that's a milestone for me. I don't think I've even been at a job for 10 years. Okay. So being married to someone for 10 years is a freaking milestone. So I'd say I've grown up a lot. And he's probably the longest relationship. Yeah, he is the longest relationship, even friends-wise, on a continuous basis. I would say that that's a milestone for me. And I still find him attractive. Of course I do. And I still find him completely just totally cool. He's just so, like, I don't know, talented. So anyways, I'll stop gushing about my husband. I love my husband. He's a good boy. So, all right, I'm going to go. So today was kind of sort of a chill, just me introducing a new topic that I haven't really angled from that. I haven't really, came from that angle before. So I'm going to sit with it and just kind of mull over it. And we'll see my next transmissions, how I'm going to put it all together in a different way to then shut up all the naysayers who believe in medical doctors on TV, the medutainers, because not all of them are medical doctors, and the one that was on me doesn't even have a freaking medical degree. See, that's the irony of it all. Back then, I was too busy taking care of other stuff that I wasn't even looking at his background. I'm more of a clinical psychologist than he is. I was raised by a psychotherapist with a law degree in a background of biotech. Dr. Phil couldn't hold a candle to my upbringing. Dr. Phil doesn't have enough life experience as far as what I've been exposed to be able to have any opinion on jelly juice, on the law, as well as anything medical. Dr. Phil doesn't hold a candle to my background. So the irony doesn't escape me. All right, bye.